Hey there, Thunk00 here, and as you can probably immediately tell, today I am in a completely different region from anything I've brought you before. In fact, this isn't even my region. It's a collaborative online region that several people on the SimCity 4 subreddit, that is reddit.com/r/SimCity4, have decided to come together and build as a collaborative project. So far, I've already been here before to stake my claim to 3 city tiles, because it looks like people are taking a lot, but I haven't really seen what the cities people are building look like, so I might as well do that. Yeah, I mean, there isn't really the greatest name for this project yet. The name of the region is Island 3, and we've been collaborating on a subreddit called Online City, that is reddit.com/r/online city, all one word. So that's pretty much the deal with that. This is Deltoid. I didn't catch exactly who built it, but it might be somebody that I know pretty well. There are already a bunch of people who've signed up to build in the region. Some of them I don't know. I don't know, it doesn't look that bad. I mean, there is some order to this chaos. Now, ooh, that is a lot of mansions though for one spot. I hope that he was really intending for that to be his high wealth mansion district. Although, even if that is intentional, those roads are quite closely spaced. I don't know, I shouldn't criticize too much. There are people with really all sorts of build styles and experience levels on the subreddit. This, for instance, right here, this double roundabout interchange, that's nothing I would ever build. And there are some details that definitely I would do differently even if I built that type of junction, but you know, it just goes to show you somebody with a completely different build style from me. And right here, this hydroelectric plant looks like. Yeah, that's a lot that I'd never seen or heard of before, and I definitely would have used, so different people definitely bring different things to the table to offer. But yeah, this Deltoid city, it seems pretty basic, you know, it's your full of mansions pretty much all over the place. It's your basic medium density mixed industrial CBD type city. Looks like there's some incomplete RHW, some small farm zones. It's all interesting stuff. So that's the first of the cities I'm going to look at. It looks like it's built by Idiota. Alright, that makes sense. I guess the street grid makes some sense if you think of it as Latin American inspired too. So here's the city of Cantrick. It looks like TGT2, he's only claimed this one city. You might as well check it out. I think that he may have posted a little screenshot album for the city already on, what's it called, on the SimCity 4 subreddit. Oh, that's a lot of messages. I like that he's using this road 3 here. I was actually thinking of having one in the adjacent city tile that would also run east-west, so I should definitely do that at this point. Create a neighbor connection, and that road 3 can hook up to this one once I get around to building that. Looks like a lot of industrial areas, a lot of medium density commercial. He's got some more suburban type residential neighborhoods than the last city though. Still a lot of mansions though, a lot of maxes. One thing about this region is we're all using a communal plugins folder, and frankly it's very heavy on the maxis lots. But that isn't necessarily how it has to always be. And in fact, just today I proposed adding a whole slew of different lots to the what's it called, the plugins folder, and yeah, as soon as I get started building my city, we'll start to see those in action, and hopefully other people will choose to use the same plugins as well. I've created an easy workaround though for people if they don't want to, and so that they can, I put everything that I installed into one subfolder so that people can easily remove that from the communal plugins folder if they so desire. Anyway, this city, there has definitely been a post on the SC4 subreddit about this. It's, I can't remember who did it, Coast Runner or something. Yeah, I like this city a lot better than the last two I looked at personally. It's got a lot of nice shapes in there. There's still some unpolished stuff, but you know, it's pretty cool. There's plenty of medium density, but it's not overdone as much as it could be. And even though the terrain is extensively flat, just all the shapes, they really give you the sense that it might not be. And then this double vanilla seaport, I mean, that's a lot that I hate personally, and that I don't think I would ever use, but that is an excellent adaptation of it into something that looks a little bit better. But let's see, he's used the vanilla beaches and marina too to great effect over here. So that's pretty nice to see. Yeah, so that's about it for that. I'm not going to save any changes I make in other people's city, obviously, without asking permission. But yeah, Coast Runner's made a fair bit of stuff, actually. He's also made this city of Baltija. Let me see what from it connects to my city to the south. Honestly, from the shape of the terrain here, it could use the name Astoria better than the tile I just assigned that name to, but hey, no, useless regrets. Looks like there's just one Road 2 connection, so I guess that's how I'll be building that. It's a very industrial. Honestly, for a Maxis city though, I love this. You know, it could use some smooth curves, but apart from that, he's really got, this Coast Runner guy, he's really got his build style down, you know. He understands how crooked lines sort of work with each other. He understands macro planning, all that stuff is important. Anyway, this looks like another significantly different type of city. Made by Lau Simera. He's definitely a long-time contributor to the SC4 subreddit. And it looks like he's building with farm sizes that are very close to what I do, so definitely that encourages me to go ahead and build some agricultural areas to the city tiles I'll be developing in this region, because it will blend in nicely with my neighbor here. And yeah, very orderly looking. Looks like he has a grid of maybe avenues, or maybe those are just arterial road 2s, and no, road 4, so kind of in between in that way. And some pretty nice gridded low density neighborhoods in the middle, again with the road 3. So it turns into an avenue though, it looks like. That's a bit unfortunate. Honestly, you know what? I think I'd pretty much, I'm not going to change it for now, but I'm definitely going to build this as a road 3 on the other side of the tile border. I don't really see the necessity of having those extra lanes to this area, since it just passes through a bunch of farms before the highway exit, but I definitely will probably want to get in contact with him and encourage him to upgrade the road after I get to work on my side of the border. And looks like he's having some commute problems, unfortunately. Now, is this RHW here? Yeah, that's an RHW4 Corniche, or you know, just a highway built on fill. I'm not sure exactly how you describe that. Looks like it narrows kind of illogically, right, leading into that half interchange though. So that's also a bit unfortunate. Hopefully he'll get on to fixing that at some point as work progresses on this city tile, because it definitely looks like a whip. And yeah, my cities are probably going to be whips as well for quite a while before I end up, or after I upload them. Yeah, this interchange here, a bit sloppy, but you know, I really appreciate the effort. Like, this guy, he knows what he's going for at the very least. And he's got some great ideas, you know. I like, what kind of seawalls are these? It looks like peg. I'm not even sure. They're a bit repetitive, honestly. And man, I know I'm just insulting all my collaborators here, but hey, it's not really insulting. I hope that you can take it as constructive criticism. And maybe I'm a little bit full of myself and my own ability with the game. That's definitely a very real possibility, and one that I don't discount. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully this region will all look great though once everybody's kind of finished what they're working on. So anyway, now that I've shown you around what's going on and taken a look for myself, I feel a little bit more comfortable getting started with my first city tile in this region. And this one, Manzanita, I'm pronouncing it that way as opposed to the Spanish pronunciation because it's named after the city in Oregon. And, ooh, bit of a problem here. Gonna have to go back into the other city tile and rebuild the road connections so that they're all working correctly. So, wait a minute, I think that I might as well just head out right here. The load times for city tiles in this region are so short with the small plugins folder that we're using that I'm frankly really not worried about showing you the loading times and such for things. But yeah, I'm gonna be building this city tile of Manzanita. I'm just gonna take care of some of the neighbor connections really quick first, but I'll meet you back there in a sec. Okay, so I got my neighbor connections figured out, and I actually kind of changed my mind about this Road 6. I think I'm going to keep it as an avenue for a while, just because I don't really intend to have a super dense city right around here. And let me just take a better look at what all is going on here. Yeah, I don't think that should be too much of an issue. Now over here it's going to be a little bit tricky to fit a smooth curve to this avenue, but I think I'll be able to do it. If not, I can always modify the terrain just a tiny bit. And, oh, looks like I only just barely have enough space right there, so that's great. Yep, and sure enough, it looks like either something is going wrong with the slope mod, or there's a bit of an issue with water in the terrain. Well, either case, it should be a pretty easy fix. Let me just go in really quick and smooth that out because I did that kind of sloppy. Alright, yeah, that should be good. Right. Perfect. Now to use a little bit of the rail tool just to smooth things out more. So probably over for this area, I'm kind of thinking, you know, a roadside commercial area combined with maybe low density housing. I think that should probably work pretty well. And I do have two avenues pretty close together, so that is a little bit problematic. Yet, I don't know. I think it'll be fine. So how do I want to do this? Maybe I could have two diagonal avenues. That might be pushing it a little bit, to be honest, but I don't know. I kind of like the idea. Yeah, I could put my second one right there. Just get my, just go south like that. And, let's see where I'll curve this one back in so the two avenues meet. And honestly, I haven't really thought this through too much, what I'm going to do for the city tile. So hopefully it doesn't end up all dirt. But, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Okay, Perfect. So I think the bridge would, or having a, I'm obviously going to need an east to west bridge for the city tile, so I think that would work pretty well over here. Let's see if I can fit that in the right spot, and it doesn't look like it. Alright. Yeah, as far as the concept for this region, what we decided pretty much is that we're just going to build this Island 3 region kind of however, and just get used to the whole idea of collaborative Dropbox based building. And then once this region is more or less filled out, we're going to move on to a region that uses terrain based on real world data. We're going to do more planning, get more plugins, and just try to get things working a little bit more realistically in general there. That will be the main goal for that region. So really everything in this region is kind of a throwaway, but it's also a nice chance to engage with the community, and you know, I'm sure that it will be a lot of fun to watch this develop, especially after I've made some contributions of my own and other people have a chance to see those, and who knows, it might even have some kind of an impact. What looks like I accidentally got the TLA 5 piece instead of the AV4 piece for that, so I'll have to go find it again. This time I'll forward tab because it's probably faster. Wow, diagonal transitions, huh? I didn't know that there were those for OWR. Alright, yeah, that's what I was looking for. So this way we have a pretty nice 6-lane road, which will be the center of kind of the mini downtown for the city tile. I don't intend for the city tile to be too dense or too overdeveloped, but I do want it to have something of a CED. Alright, and Road 6, I mean, that's a network that I just don't use very often, to be honest. I really should use it more. So I think I'll just continue it on straight for now. Then I'll introduce more curvature and such in the next city tile over, because I've also claimed that one. Okay, so far so good. You know, I'm even going to have this as 3-tile road for just a bit. Here, let me see if there's a more graceful transition for this side to do that though. Alright, get rid of those road stubs too. Yeah, I'll just keep it as AV6 for now. Looks like you can only do AV6 to Road 6, not AV6 to Road 4. That's a shame. Oh well. I will just have to replace my Road 6 transition then, it looks like. Yep. Here. Or no, there was an AV4 transition after all. I just missed it for some reason. So I'll go see if I can grab that again. Okay. So that's good on there. Now for over here, I might as well make the 3-tile road a little bit wider. The reason I'm making it a 3-tile road is pretty much only because I want to have tulips. Those are important for me. And in order to avoid the need for that stuff on major intersections further to the west, I think what I'm going to do is let's just use another NWM network. So, okay, that's a pretty good start, I think. Now let's get the infrastructure in place. Ooh, you know what? I just remembered something else I was thinking about earlier, and I think I'm gonna just get rid of this Road 6 altogether, because I kind of want to have an RHW over here in order to connect further south. So I'm going to go ahead and build that instead. And I'm going to have some kind of interchange too. So I guess most of this video is going to be just me building that road and building the interchange in the end, but hopefully it shouldn't be too boring despite that. Alright, I think I want to build it as RHW6C. That's a type of RHW I don't often use, but one I really should use more. One of the better looking textures out there. So let's get the neighbor connection piece really quick. Yeah, RHW6C neighbor connector. Beautiful. So I'm pretty sure I think it should be pretty easy to get this to connect right. Now the way to do this is usually to start with the inner ramps, but I don't think I'm going to do that here, just because, what was I going to say? Just because there's very little in this city tile that's already sort of set in its place so far. I really have a lot of leeway as far as being able to do stuff differently or move stuff around if I want to. So, alright. Just trying to figure out what type of RHW I'm going to need here. I think that my only option really if I want a acceleration lane is to use an RHW8C type F1 entrance. So let me make sure before I do anything else that I have enough room for an acceleration lane in this tile, because I don't really fancy going into the next one to build it if I don't necessarily have to. So an acceleration lane should be 20 tiles, so I want my ramp split, or the ramp gore at least, to be around there. Let me go see if I can find that ramp again. And I want an 8C type F1. Yeah, just like this. So the gore should go right there. Perfect. And then let's see if we can find the transitions. This acceleration ramp is going to be a little bit smaller than maybe it should be, because the transition will cut into its space, but hey, it's still, you know, larger than quite a lot of real-life acceleration lanes, so shouldn't be a problem necessarily. Now I'm not finding the width transitions for the life of me. Oh, there they are. So 8C to 6C, that's what we're looking for. Just like so. Yeah, like this. That's probably the best we can do, because there does need to be a starter piece on with transitions. So yeah, I mean, it's a relatively short acceleration lane, but I think it should do just fine. Now over here, I really want to have a fractional angle width transition, so I think that's possible to get through here, through this menu, right? It might be under FA intersections or something like that, though. Never know with this stuff. Yeah, let me try back tabbing, see if it's right there. And it doesn't appear to be. Elevated transitions? I didn't know they had those. Only L2 though, which isn't very useful. So FA intersection, yeah, here it is. So I want a little one of these really quick. And I've got to set it from that side. Yeah, just like that. Perfect. So now, I guess, well, really kind of did do this in the wrong order, because I'm going to need to fit a loop ramp. So I'm just going to draw this out really quick, and presumably the center of the interchange will be somewhere around here. I hope so, at least. So let me get started on building the loop ramp, and I'll probably have to move it in order to get it in the right spot, but hey, that's just part of this game. Alright, whoa, that's completely incorrect. I didn't want it to move the terrain down, and don't know why it did that. Alright, now we've got it right. So what do I have to do? Just like click on a whole huge area? Yeah, apparently. Alright, so let me bring this area down to the normal height. Perfect. And I will do the same on, well, actually just let me think really quick how this is going to work. It's very confusing. Yeah, I'm gonna want it to be too wide so I can have some RHW4 kind of loop around and connect over to this. So in other words, I'm gonna want this to be much further away in all likelihood. Alright, so that should probably be plenty, right? So let me just flatten this area, and it looks like my avenue tool won't work for that. Unfortunate. Make sure that those two tiles are on the right height. And okay. So I'm going to get rid of this really quick. And I'm just going to pretty much... Ooh, you know what? I screwed this up. I need one more tile further, because this isn't the edge of the RHW, it's kind of the exact center right there, in fact. So, yeah, that's another shame, I guess. So let's use the rail tool to expand the slope a little bit further back. Cut this down. And there we go. Perfect. So now I can place Nice height transition just to show me how much space I have to work with. I'm almost certainly going to have to replace this at some point. And then from there, you know what, I'm almost certainly going to need another tile of flatness too around here. So I might as well prepare myself for that now. Alright. Yeah, and that tile is so that I can place a nice starter piece for MIS. Which I believe, yeah, it's going to face that way. Now let's find the 90-degree curves. And I'm going to try to get the terrain a little bit more friendly around here, just by doing those diagonals. I kind of doubt that it will have too much, it'll really be in the clear as far as terrain levels just from that, but, you know. Alright, so let's make sure the yellow line is facing the right way, and damn, that really screwed everything up, huh? So I'm going to have to go back into my ground razors and raise this back up. Alright, yeah, that works fine. And now maybe if I have all this stuff here, the MIS curve won't screw around with me. Alright, so yeah, I have a feeling that it's not even going to let me place that anywhere. Well, I'll just give it another attempt. Yeah, I don't know. That's obviously not going to work. And of course it would get rid of everything to demolish that one tile. Ooh, this might be a long video right here. I am not the best RHW user out there. Alright, so I'm just going to try to keep that area like that, and see if I can't move this in just another little tile here. If that'll work perfectly, then I can just put the starter piece right on top of that tile right there. Yep, looks like it. Great. So, that does leave me in a bit of a conundrum for over here, though. Let me see if I can't replace that flex height transition without getting... come on. So I'm going to have to rebuild all of those things until I can find the right order. Maybe I can get away with not adding a starter piece right away. I kind of doubt it, but yeah. Yeah, this is shitty. Whatever. Might as well at least build my other flex height transition. And hopefully this area and override will just carry over. I'm not counting on it though. Alright, so Let's find a nice smooth curve for RHW4. How close can I get it? That looks like it. Okay, I can live with that. And that's as close as those can get. And over here, this is going to be a tight fit. But it looks like I'll probably have enough room for a nice diagonal curve over here. If not, I can move all this stuff. So let's go to FA-RHW, find the RHW4 spot. And get the inner curve. And, yep, it looks like I'm going to want to move back one tile. That's good. It'll just let me recover the room I had to get rid of in the first place in my acceleration lane. So I'll rebuild this. Yeah, actually, no, not right there. Well, looks like I tabbed right over it. Yeah, it's just going to be in this tile, huh? So I'll only save one tile, but one tile's better than zero. Okay. So now let me go back to fractional angle intersections. There it is. Build that puzzle piece. And FA ramps. And we'll move the gore forward one tile. Where's AC type F1? There it is. Looks like I'm gonna have somehow managed to not demolish a puzzle piece there. That sucks. Alright, perfect. Perfect. This interchange is going pretty smooth so far. And I know I do build a lot of trumpet interchanges, but hey, no, they work. You know, I can probably afford to just extend my RHW a little bit. Alright. And I'm pretty sure there's a draggable transition for this, right? Yeah, of course there is. I'll have to do something about the median there, though, but well, that's another worry for another day. So, what was I gonna do here? Well, one thing I could definitely do is take care of this override really quick. And hopefully it'll be stable enough that I won't need to use fillers here. Yeah, it looks like I'm set in that regard. Still need a filler over there though. Now over here, why isn't that? What's the issue? Guess I need to rebuild that smooth curve there. I can do that. Let's find the flex height. And yeah. Wow, why is this giving me problems all of a sudden? wonder if I'll still be able to place my little MIS curve. No, of course it would give me issues. Come on, I've built this kind of thing a million times before without any problems. At least it seems to be working a little bit better now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get rid of that one too, it looks like. Come on. I can't build it that far back. That just completely sucks. I just don't know what I can do here. Yeah, it looks like I have to demolish this one more time. Ugh. Maybe if I do something a little bit like that, it will help. Although probably not. But hey, I've got to make this work somehow, right? Especially after I already claimed both, like, 3 city tiles in this region. Maybe that was a bit hasty. Oh, come on, this work. Alright, this is going to have to work. And it works. Beautiful. So I should be able to get my curve in there now, right? At least, it seems like I should. Oh, only because it screwed up the... I have to start out from scratch again? Alright. Frustrating. Wow, how many tiles did that slope go out for? Jeez. So I think I'm gonna try to move the, what's it called? The MIS loop ramp back yet one more tile. Digits, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So it's going to be over here now. Where are the flex height transitions? There we go. Actually, before I do anything with those, I will probably want to make sure the slope is usable. Okay. So that should do that. Where are the flex height transitions again? Nowhere? Oh, there they are. Alright. Now let's get ourselves nice. So that's probably about the minimum space that could be devoted to this. And other curves. No, of course that wouldn't work. What was I thinking? I guess the reason I moved it out like this was so that I could have an extra tile for the RHW4 anyway. Why isn't this working now? Make sure that the terrain is working as it should be here. Yeah, clearly something's going wrong with that road there. I don't know. I don't think I can fix it. So I'll try again with this MIS ramp, which I'm not even sure will work with the amount of space I'm giving it. And fuck! God, why would it screw that up again? Jeez, this seriously bothers me. It's just poor programming that those flex height transitions are possible to be lowered so easily. I don't know. Jam team makes a lot of really weird decisions. Now I have no idea what tile was supposed to be on. Whatever. I'm just gonna assume that I'm gonna want to have it on these two tiles. And I already screwed it up again. What's wrong with that? So I think this is right. Yeah. Oh, come on. Why couldn't that connect? I'm letting myself get really frustrated really fast. I don't think I can play for too much longer like this. Why won't that work? Like, really? What's the fucking problem with this stuff? What if I just do that? Will it work now? Not really. Yeah. Why would I expect it to work here? Come on! What the fuck? Really sorry about that. I'm getting just... I don't know why it's affecting me so much today, but... I mean, I know how to do this. It's just... This thing is so finicky. Sorry for cursing. I usually don't do that. Especially not at a video game. What if it's just flat? It's gotta work then, right? Okay, well, progress. Oh, you know what? I've kind of been doing this wrong all this whole while. I can't make a loop ramp this small. Gonna need another tile for, what's it called? Gonna need another tile for something, for the MIS to pass under. Either that, or more than one more tile. So that the ramp can be on the west side of the overpass, which I don't want to do. So alright, can we try building it here? Should be good like that, right? And then like that. Then I'll have to extend this a tile, I guess. Yep. And obviously I can't keep that slope. Why do I have to demolish the damn flex height transition every single time? I don't get that. Why would the NAM team even build like that? Ugh. Yeah, that's not really working the way I wanted it to. Oh well. Whatever, I'm just gonna leave it. Hopefully the slopes will sort themselves out, not as though they ever do. Man, this is just a video full of negativity, huh? So sorry about that. Okay, well, so much for the negativity. Looks like the slope is working nicely with that. Alright, so with that taken care of, I feel confident enough to place this over here. I should be able to place this here. I don't know. Probably not gonna work, huh? Let me see if I can put that 90-degree curve back in without breaking anything. Yeah, looks like it. Good. So, yep, the curve is just going to have to be super extended. But hey, I definitely would not have guessed it would fit up perfectly right here, so hey, that puts me in a better mood already. That's great. Man, this is just a huge area in this interchange that's not really being used for anything. Oh well. Let me get my other flex height. Right there. Now, the way I want to do this is to see if I can't place elevated MIS starter piece on top of this MIS ramp here. And if I can, everything should theoretically work pretty smoothly. But you know how this is. Can't really guarantee that ever. Yeah, so it seems like it works fine on that side of things. Now up here, that's all flat, so I can pretty much do that without any consequence, or, well, it might have moved the ground down by a meter there. Okay, well that destroyed the starter piece. I'm going to have to rebuild a 90-degree curve, and oh well. Oh, at least let's make sure that all of the terrain heights are at the right level. And place this. Alright. And let me see here. I'm going to want to put the curve in place first, because I don't want to screw that up after all the work finding out how to make it work. Now let me see if I can fit a nice starter over here, just like that. And hey, it works this time. Who would have thought? Didn't before. So let's get the elevated MIS starter piece. I don't usually say MIS, I don't know why I did it there. It's MIS. MIS for me has two S's. Okay, so this seems pretty solid. Now I can probably stand to, now that I've got the overpass in place, to have the exit ramp for the loop ramp. That should be pretty easy to build. I think I'm just going to use a type A1. 6C type A1, that's right. It'll give me a nice extra starter piece there. I'll give it a little bit of space. Beautiful. So now, I think I'm in a pretty decent spot to start building the corresponding part of the overpass on this side. And I have a lot more leeway over here as far as space, which is great. So let's make sure that that's nicely sloped. And where are the flex height? Two of those in place. And I'll just keep these both as RHW2 for now. I wonder if you know, I kind of have my doubts that this will work exactly the way I wanted it to, since I'm going to have to switch between S and C networks down here. But I think I will give things a go. So I really wanted, let's see if I can't find it. I think there's an RHW6 entrance ramp. 6S, that is. That works the way I want over here. Yeah, something like this, but the opposite. There we go. Beautiful. So I'm just choosing kind of a random amount of space for this. I want to have a nice large RHW for a ramp. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, and it should somewhat match the scale of the ramps on the other side. Right, so RHW6S type F2, right? Yep. Yeah, that works beautifully. So that plus a type F1 over here. Yeah, not like that. There we go. Beautiful. And I want them to be just a little bit asymmetric. That's on purpose. Okay. So now for the moment of truth. Will it cross? And it will. Alright, excellent. This is working pretty nicely now that I've gotten the hang of it, if I say so myself. Now I'm going to want to flatten all of this. So I'm going to want a fractional angle curve in this area. And even if that wasn't the case, I would still want to flatten it, just so it looks better. Same goes for over here. So that should be good. So I've only got 2 ramps left to build, and those I should be able to do pretty easily. So, ramps. Not ramps, FARHW. So, I think I'm going to want at least 2 straight pieces. Just see how many of those I might need though. So fractional angle to diagonal to fractional angle. Yeah, that's how I'm going to want to curve this. So I'm going to need something a little bit like that. And then I want 2. This would be a good tile, right? it's not two, it's just going to be one tile. So, you know what? I'm going to just rebuild this really quick. Why do I have to rebuild this one too? Seriously? Yeah. Okay, should only take a moment. Alright. So that I wanted there, and this one I will now have it symmetrical. Yeah, just like that. It's not quite symmetrical still, but hey, it's pretty close. Alright. So this is looking pretty good, if I say so myself. And over here, it should be able to interface just fine with the ramp. And I'm obviously going to have to continue the RHW6 a little bit further. A little bit further. Beautiful. So over here, I'm pretty much going to want to do the same thing. Let's find FA-RHW. Let's get our RHW4 straight pieces. Now, is the diagonal curve the same size? I don't think so. Yeah, that is most certainly not. Actually, you know what? I think it is. Never mind. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's exactly the same size. So I think that's pretty solid. Let's get our diagonal RHW4 pillars, because we need a couple of them. Oh, come on! I have to rebuild this. No. 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 Okay, it works right there. It should work, right? I really think so, at least. So let's go back to the curve I'm looking for. There we go. This has got to work now, right? Oh, come on! Come on! You can do better than that. After all this work and everything else is nice, can you give me this? What if I were to put it back a little bit? Oh, it's just not good on this tile. I think the problem is probably with this curve up here, if anything. So I'm going to try to... I have plenty of space on it, so I should be able to rebuild it from this side, from the top. Okay, yeah. So will it work now? Still no. Jeez, what's the problem? Is it a secret? Okay, well, filler works from here. Now I'm pretty sure I can't build my curve into a filler piece, but I can give it a try. And hey, it worked. I didn't think that would work. Beautiful. So now all that remains is a couple fractional angle ramps. Alright, you see I want type, type C2. Man, that's a beautiful curve right there. And I'll probably could do with just 200 feet of extra lane space for this. No need to make it very long. So I should probably back tab to get to my type F1 entrance again. Yeah, just like that. Okay. And this, I think because it's turning into a surface road, we could stand to have a little bit of a subpar acceleration lane here, since you really shouldn't be accelerating to a stoplight anyway, right? So let's go to width transitions, and I think that would be fine with just, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we could afford a 500-foot acceleration lane. Of course, first I have to find where the transition is. Eight C to 6, yeah, that's it. Just like that. And that looks problematic there, but I'll find out something. Okay, it works now. Looks like that was just a weirdly shaped starter piece, a weird looking starter piece. Alright, so over here, I was thinking maybe 250 feet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for an extra lane, but honestly, might as well just give it a full 500 feet like I did on the other side, even though it is for an exit lane. You know, I mean, there's just space in the right of way, so why not? It'll hopefully make merging less of a white knuckle experience. Oh, not L1. Where's the C transitions? Okay. Let's try tabbing from the start. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, I could do it like this maybe. That looks pretty cool. Yeah, I think that works just fine. So, just a little bit more thinking left to do. Now, I'm going to want this to turn back into type 6C. So I'm going to find my transition for that really quick. HW 6S to 6C, yeah, that's what I want. And jeez, with these trees I can't really understand what I'm looking at. I think that's right though. Yeah, that'll work just fine. This will kind of limit me as far as being able to... I'll have one tile for an overpass here, and I can have one further down too. Let's make sure that this hooks up there. Alright. Nice, so I think that should about be it for for actually paving the roadways of these highways. But what really remains, I want to get the rest of the intercity road connections out of the way, because to be frank, after building that interchange I feel like I did a lot and it's time to take a short break. But I do want to get things that are going to interface with other cities completely taken care of before I finish my own work. Maybe I could, oh yeah, that might work. Just to add some extra lanes on this side of this intersection. Ooh, this intersection won't work though. Yeah. I have to figure out something else for there. Maybe I can move it by just one tile, that would work, right? Yeah. Good enough. Not the prettiest solution, but hey, it works. So yeah, we can maybe have a little AV4 to AV2 transition over here. Yep, something like that. That gives me just enough space to do turning lanes the way I like to. Now I can move this down. Whoops. Screwed that up. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. There we go. Yeah, that's what I was trying to build. So now I might as well build a few little tulips over here. And this can't have any tulips, so I'm actually going to move the S-curve back. I can't move it back that far. But I can move it back one tile. That'll give me one more space. Get some nicer turning lanes. Alright. So yeah, we'll have a little something right there. A little something something. And then we'll get some on the other sides too. Now let's go to the little TLA 3 transition. Is that right? Yeah. And AV2 version for over here. Now some type A1 arrow markings. Whoops. Type A blank. Type A blank. And one more over here. And the intersection piece. Alright. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. Then my thought is maybe some apartment complexes around here, but mostly lower density. And then across the bridge, this island, I'm not sure, maybe there will be a prison on it or some kind of park. More likely it'll just be a park or devoted to nature stuff. Then over here, still gotta decide exactly how this is gonna work. I probably want another avenue if anything. So yeah, in order to do that, I'm gonna want to transition to TLA 7 really quick. Yeah, I'll just leave it looking messy for the moment. That's too close anyway. Yeah, for this I want at least 4 tiles for the tulip, which means 5 total before the intersection, which means I want the avenue to be over here. And that's going to lead to my tile to the south, which is going to be an urban sprawl type deal. Now let's continue north just a little bit. And we can put on in the tulips. So type A base network transition. And whoop, doing this a little bit sloppily right here. But hey, it's not too bad. Alright, then the TLA5 and AV6 ones are of course a little bit easier. So I can just stick. I actually want that facing the other way. And I want it back there if possible, but it doesn't look like I can get that. So I'm going to have to move all of this one more time. Yeah. On over to here. And we can forget about that. Move that avenue on down. And alright. So let's get all of those tulips into place. This is going to be pretty much the busiest intersection in town if I have my druthers. So so there's a reason that I'm building the turn lanes this large, even though in real life they're usually quite a bit smaller. Alright, beautiful. So it shouldn't be too difficult to just replace this stuff that I already built before. And put the center over here. Beautiful, perfect. Might be another avenue north-south around here. I don't know though, I'm kind of thinking I might already have too many avenues. Yeah, I'm not going to build anything like that just yet. Now over here there's this road that connects the next city tile, so I'm going to curve it on over, just because it's narrow and I might as well. Kind of following the general shape of the coastline that way. And then it gets a little bit straighter here. I don't know. It's going to have a series of bridges somewhere to pass over this delta type feature. So honestly, I may as well just do that from here, since I'm already pretty close to the city tile border. Yeah, and I'm not really trying to exactly have, you know, crazy looking bridges here. So yeah, I think just the plain road bridge will work fine. I do want it to be a bit different from that though, so I'm going to build this right up to the edge. Alright, plain road bridge. Perfect. And just have a little bit more curvature here maybe, because I can. And this can be another plain road bridge, or at least it theoretically could, but I don't want to build it there. Let me see about that. Oh, there's still an intersecting tile. Oof, and you know that's going to intersect too. So, yeah, that's not going to work. So you know what I'm going to do is actually just flatten that a teensy tiny bit. And of course smooth things a little bit too. This is a handmade region, it's pretty easy to ruin the lines. Okay, yeah, that looks a lot more like what I was thinking about for this. So what would look good here? I don't think that's really what I'm going for. Steel arch obviously doesn't look any good at this height. Maybe some kind of undertruss? Do I even have an undertruss option? Of course I do. Yeah, no, again it's not tall enough. So I'm just going to go with another plain road bridge. And, I'll probably have this road continue straight for a little while. And I can have another local road connection over to that city tile, which is also mine. And then I think I'll have a little bit of a curve. Over to here. And of course I'll curve this the same as I did on the other side of the diagonal. Just like that, right? No, one more tile. Ooh, that looks rough. Alright, yeah. That's exactly what I was looking for. Except that is not going to work. For some reason I'm doing this wrong. I need to have enough space for tulips on this road, so I have to move that really quick. And yeah, that's probably the closest I can get this. So, I think what I'm trying to do here is that, and then that. Yes. That's it. Maybe this will turn into another avenue by the time it meets this one. But for now, I'm just gonna keep it as a makeshift connection like that. And, you know what? I think that I'm pretty much ready to say that my work for now is done. So I do intend to be building this city tile pretty soon, and I will definitely record once I get down to the nitty-gritty of that. But for now, I think I'm going to take a quick break in this game because, man, from the amount I was shouting at this RHW interchange, you can really tell that I need the break. So there is a little bit more, well, yeah, I kind of just said goodbye, but I just remembered there were a couple more things that I wanted to do before I left, and one of those things was cosmetic pieces. So let's find the type 8C lane reduction. Right there, so I'm going to want a couple of these. One over there, and one in the middle somewhere. Right there should be good. Now over here it's a little bit shorter, so they probably only need 2 of the arrows, that is. Right there and there should be good. Now, as for other cosmetic pieces, let's see what's at my disposal. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's just what I was looking for. Yeah, I'm just going to build these on out. And gonna actually have to demolish that transition really quick because I want to build the cosmetic transition version. Yes. Okay. So 3 tile cosmetic pieces. There we go. There we go. Unmarked. Yeah, that's what I want. Huh. Can I not replace that for some reason? Who knows? Who knows? Alright. So let's get the unmarked piece back in. Oops. And again, I can't seem to... Okay. I don't know why I had a starter piece there. I thought the cosmetic pieces would be a little bit easier than this. Okay. So maybe just something like this would do, and again I have to demolish a tile. It's so weird. I don't remember placing those starter pieces, but I guess I did. Alright. Now let's find that exit arrow. Perfect. So what else did I need in the way of cosmetic pieces? Oh yeah, over here. I really might as well have something, even though I can't have all that much because of the width transition. So I'll just place these down over like this. Something like that. And probably one, I want one further back here as well. Let me see if I can find something like that in the 6S pieces. Or 6C pieces, I meant. It looks like it doesn't exist. Yeah, it goes... Oh well. I'm sure that there can be a sign over here or something saying lane ends. And one last little detail is to place this straight filler piece. Whoops. Beautiful. Okay, so now I think I am done for real. So, yeah, I'll see you next time when I will continue working on this city tile, Manzanita.